Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title, this is going to be my labor and delivery slash birth story with Ari. So just to get a couple things out of the way, I had Ari on, sorry, I'm trying to get to my notes. I had her on June 20th. So it's been 3 weeks since I've had her, and I just kind of taking a break and enjoying my time with her and Kai and Hewlin because he's been home. But I did want to get this video out to you guys. So, and another thing, I'm not going to be showing Ari, so when I do videos and vlogs, it might be a little while before you actually see her, and you won't see her in this video either, just because she's so little and I don't really feel comfortable showing her just yet. I haven't even really posted her on social media too much, so just to get all that settled and out there. So yeah, I will go right on into my birth story with her. And I've got like all my little notes, if you guys can see. I made tons of notes so that I could remember. So basically, the weekend of Father's Day, my parents had kept Kai for me just so I can kind of like relax and just like take a breather type of thing. So they kept her for the weekend, and me and Hewlin were actually on our way to go pick her up. So it happened the 19th. I started, June 19th, I started having contractions at about 5:20, and we were driving out there, and he like took this other path that we normally don't go to drive to get her, and it was like super bumpy and super uncomfortable, and I feel like that really helped me like have contractions and have them stronger, because it was super bumpy and I was just constantly like bouncing on the drive, and it just was like killing my stomach. But my contractions started about 5:20 and then continued and got stronger until about 7. So from 5:20 to 7, we were at my parents' house, and we were just kind of hanging out because it was Father's Day, so I wanted to spend some time with my dad, and we had to get Kai, and we had planned to go to his parents' house as well so that they could see Kai and spend some time with her, and we could spend time with his dad. But yeah, so at about 7:15ish, my contractions got really strong and they started hurting extremely bad, and I kept like making jokes because we were watching the game, and I kept saying, oh, you guys might have to keep Kai longer than the weekend because I'm having contractions, and no one was taking me seriously. They were like, oh, okay, because we were watching the Warrior game. But they started to get to the point where I felt like I couldn't sit down comfortably. I had to walk. My stomach would get really hard. They were getting really close together. So I had my mom call labor and delivery for me to ask if I need to come in, and just kind of give them the heads up that I was coming in. And they called and they were like, yeah, you definitely should come in, especially since the game was here in the Bay Area and I had to drive past where they were playing to get to my hospital. So they were like, definitely come in. We'd rather you be here and have you labor here for a little bit and then send you home or keep you instead of you being stuck in traffic. So that's what I did. Drove there. We got there about 7:30. They put me in triage. They kind of like hooked me up to the machines and everything to monitor the heartbeat and the contractions and everything. While I was waiting in triage and I was hooked up to everything, I was actually checked by a nurse, which was like so weird because it was like so just like a really calm environment compared to last time. I don't know if it was like me that was calmer or if the people there, I know they were way calmer, and like it's like they didn't have enough to do. But I was checked by a nurse for my like cervix dilation and stuff like that compared to the last time I was checked. And I've never been checked where it hurt, but this time it hurt so bad. Like it was so uncomfortable. It was just like she didn't know what she was doing. She was just like digging around in there, and it literally hurt so bad. It was so uncomfortable, and it literally was just painful. Like I've never had a cervix check be painful like that from all the ones that I've had with Kai and the ones that I've had from Ari with this pregnancy. But it was like super painful, and I really wish that I would have waited for the midwife because it probably wouldn't have been that bad, but it was really painful. So after she checked me, I was dilated to 4 centimeters, and I was about 4 centimeters and not a little over 50% effaced because I was already 50%, so I was probably like 60. I want to say, and honestly, me and Hewlin were like so shocked that they were like, yep, we're gonna admit you and move you to the admitting room now, and like the laboring room. And I was just like, what? Like it threw me off because in my mind I just really didn't think that I was gonna have her. Like with Kai, if you guys remember, I went to the hospital tons of times before I've actually had her because I had full on labor many times, and everything was just too relaxed. Like, it didn't feel like actual labor. Like, I didn't feel like I was really getting ready to have my baby. Like, me and Helen just honestly, we could not believe it. So we were like seriously shocked. Like, we thought that we were gonna go home, and she's like, okay, grab all your stuff, Dad, get all the stuff, we're gonna move on over to the birthing room. So that was like super exciting. So it literally went really quick from like 7:30 getting checked, and literally I was like in my room ready to go like by 8. Like, we were all settled in, they had everything hooked up, and like they were like, okay, keep on laboring, and that's what I did. So honestly, just talk about like the laboring, it definitely wasn't bad. I did hold off on getting my epidural right away, even though I was already at 4 centimeters and I could have got it, but I definitely wanted to hold off because my water hadn't broken yet, and I just really felt like if I did get my epidural before like my water broke, that it would really slow things down. Because with Kai, when I got there, my water had already broke and I was ready to go. Like, I was like 5 centimeters when I got there, I think. So this time I just really felt like nervous about getting my epidural too early and just not being able to have Ari vaginally or something go wrong. So I did wait, and I labored naturally, and this labor was so nice and like easy, if that makes sense. Like, while I was laboring, in like during the contractions, I was able to like just focus on something in the room and just kind of think myself through it. Like, just tell myself, relax, it's okay, we can do this, it's almost over, and just kind of breathe through. And that really like really helped me. I was surprised because with Kai, I had back labor, if you guys remember, and it was horrible. I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. And with these contractions, like, I just kind of like sat and I just like and like when I couldn't like breathe, I just kind of like focused on this picture of a shell that was in the room, and it just literally was so calming. Like, I was just like and just kind of stared off at that shell, and it really like it helped. It was amazing that I was able to labor like this. But it got to a point where I was kind of like, okay, you know, I don't want him to get too busy. I feel like I'm doing okay. Clearly my, you know, I'm having contractions still, everything's still progressing. I'm able to keep myself calm and kind of work my way through it. So I decided to get my epidural, and it was about 9:30 that I got my epidural. We had already met with the anesthesiologist before. He actually met us as we were walking over to the birthing room, and he was really nice. So he was just like, you know, it's not a busy night, just give me a page whenever you're ready. So at about 9:30, I was getting my epidural, and this time it was like, it was definitely a weird experience. Like, everyone was just so, it's just so calm and relaxed. I think with Kai's, it was just a lot going on. I was in so much pain. It was just a lot of things going on, and everyone was just running around and getting stuff. And this time it was just me and Hewlett, and everything was just like so calm. That's like all I can say. This labor was so calm. But he comes in, and he's like talking to me and doing the whole epidural check, and, you know, checking everything they have to check. And he's like, do you think you can sit still long, you know, with don't going through contractions or shit we wait? And I'm like, no, I'm fine, like, let's do this. And he's like, okay, cool, but you cannot move. Whatever you do, you cannot move. And I'm like, I got it, I won't move, I'll be fine. Because with Kai's, I had back labor, so when I had a contraction, they were like, boom, you won't feel it, it'll be great, let's go. So I'm like, I've got this. And when you get epidurals, for people that are watching that haven't had a baby, they like make you arch your back, like to hunch it. So he tells me to do that, so I'm doing that. I'm leaned over. He's like, okay, I'm getting ready to put the needle in. This one's just going to be numbing medicine, but you still can't move. So I'm like, okay, duh, I got this. And I'm arched over, and as soon as he puts that stupid needle in my back, I go and like sat up because it like pinched and it like burned and it hurt. I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I didn't expect to feel it, and I felt it. So it sucked that I literally was like, I got this, I won't move. And then I literally sat up like right away, which definitely, like, the nurse was like, no. She was holding my hand. She was holding my hand because, or my arm, because she was holding the monitor on the baby on my stomach because I had to be arched over so far. And he was like sitting right in front of me. Sorry, I'm like listening for Ari. And he was like sitting right in front of me, so he like kind of had like his legs touching my feet. And I literally jumped up, and he like looked so shocked, like, oh my god, you moved. And the nurse was like, be still, sweetheart, don't move, you're okay. Literally the nicest nurse, by the way. I loved her. Like, I really want to be like her friend in life. But But yeah, so it was just like I instantly jumped. I couldn't even control it. Like it wasn't even like me moving from the pain. It was like my body reacting to the pain of the needle. It was just, it sucked. Honestly, it sucked, and I wasn't prepared for it. um, so after the numbing and everything, I kind of like felt better. Like I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel him take the needle out. I didn't feel anything. Um, and then he's like, okay, we're putting the epidural in, which I don't understand. Like I feel like it's a needle or it's like a cord thing like the IV. I don't know, honestly. I try to never look at that stuff because it bugs me. But I did feel the epidural go into my back this time, which was a really weird sensation because my back was numb, so it wasn't really painful. It was just awkward and kind of weird. After I got my epidural, I really didn't feel anything. Like I didn't feel my contractions. I didn't feel like uncomfortable when I had my contractions, which was really nice. But the only thing that sucked is like I wasn't able to move around anymore. I had to lay on my side with my epidural. They didn't let me lay on my back at all. I had to lay either on my right side or my left side and kind of just like flip flop between the two because whatever side I lay on is the side that the medicine's going to go to. So that definitely sucked, but it was nice to like just lay down and relax and not really feel any of the contractions or any of the uncomfortableness. But I mean, that was like the best part about it. It's just like not being able to like really feel anything or have to deal with it. So I was just living life at that point, honestly. Like I was just there hanging out, honestly. Like I felt nothing. But what was really cool is that, well, I guess not really cool, but was nice, was that I could still feel my legs. Because when I had Kai, I couldn't really feel them. Like I knew they were there, and if I touched them, I like, you know, I could kind of get like sensation from them. But if I wanted to like wiggle my toes, I couldn't, or I couldn't feel myself doing it. So this time around, I did have like a lot more sensation in my legs, my feet, and my toes. I was able to move my legs, I could move my feet. I had like control and feeling of them still. So that was really nice because it's kind of a weird feeling when you can't feel parts of your body that you're normally used to feeling. So that was like nice part about it. Because I didn't feel like it took everything away, which is gonna suck later, but it was definitely nice being able to feel it for the time while I was waiting. So from about 9:30 when I got my epidural, it was just pretty much like the waiting game. Like shortly after I did get my epidural, they did check me again. So I'd probably say around like 10 maybe, they checked me again, and it was a different nurse that checked me this time, and she was like super nice, super sweet. Honestly, I love this nurse. She was so nice. She like kind of hung out with me in the room when she finished her round, so it was like nice because she was just like hanging out and talking and, you know, interacting with me and healing. But she did check me again, and I think I had gone up a centimeter, so I was about 5 centimeters and like 80% effaced. So my worries of the whole epidural taking, you know, kind of stopping my progression and everything had like subsided. It was nice to see that I was still going, because that was like a really big worry, but I tried not to like stress it because I knew that would really make a difference in me progressing and like my whole laboring process. So it was pretty much just like waiting game. Like they were gonna let me try to labor on my own. Didn't really want to intervene too much, just kind of see how long it took for my water to break and just really my water to break and just kind of like progress through my labor until I had gotten to 10 centimeters or my water broke or what have you, until we had the baby. So at 11:30 p.m. my water actually broke on its own, and it was really funny because the nurse was saying goodbye because her shift had ended, and she made a joke and was like, yeah, so you're doing great, everything looks good, you're progressing like normal, all we need is for your water to break now. And literally minutes after she walked out the room and finished introducing, and the new nurse came in and introduced herself, my water broke. So it was really funny. She came back and was like, just couldn't wait, huh? But it was definitely completely weird sensation this time compared to Kai's. Like I was laying in bed kind of on my left side, and it was just like tons of pressure. Like I could feel like pressure kind of like building, and I was like, this is weird, it feels kind of strange. And then it's just like it didn't really make that noise, but like it felt like it made that noise. And then it was just like a gush of my fluid, but it wasn't like a super big gush. Like it wasn't a gush like you would see like in the movies, how it literally looks like someone poured a whole gallon of water on the ground. It was just like a good amount of gush, if that makes sense. So yeah, after that, honestly, I told the nurse, like, hey, my water broke. She literally looked and was like, yep, it did. And she's like, I'm gonna start getting the stuff. And I'm like, good, we need to get like the room together here, because they had the baby little thing that they put the baby in the cleaner off and everything, but they didn't have anything else set up as far as like me birthing the baby. So they kind of got stuff set up, but it was really weird because the nurses were like so relaxed. It threw me off. Like, she's like, okay, yep, I'll get the stuff for the baby. Yep, I'll go ahead and call the doctor. And I'm just like, you guys should be moving faster. Like, I haven't been checked since I got my epidural, or like nothing. So it was just like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, we gotta do some things here. Like, this is, nothing's happening. um so like shortly after, like, they started bringing stuff in and getting the other nurses to kind of like wheel the stuff in, she checked me again, and I was completely effaced. I was at 100% effaced, and I was at 10 centimeters. So from like 11:30 for my water breaking to about 11:45, I want to say, is when I checked and everything. When I was checked in about 11:45, I was already at 10 centimeters. So the last time they checked me, I was 5 centimeters. So I went from 5 to 10 like super quick. And it, like, literally, like, right after I was checked and everything, and my water broke, everything went super quick. Like, I could feel my body pushing, trying to like push her out. Like, it wasn't even me. Like, I couldn't stop it, and I definitely wasn't doing it because I would tell myself relax, but my body was pushing. Like, I could feel like my body like bearing down and her like really pushing to come out, which was really weird because with Kai I couldn't feel anything, but like I said, I still had sensation like down, like from like waist down. I still had sensation, so I definitely felt every bit of that, and it was super super uncomfortable. Like, it hurt. So, I told the nurses, like, hey, I feel like my body's pushing. Like, I feel like she's trying to come out. And the nurses are just, like, super relaxed. We're like, okay, sweetheart, that's great. That's wonderful. Go ahead and push if you need to push. And I'm like, I can't just push my child out. You're not ready to get her. The doctor's not here. Nothing's really set up. Like, what, I'm going to push her out myself and my damn husband's going to catch her? Like, I don't understand. So I was just like, okay, we need to hurry up and get the stuff in the room. And she's like, yeah, it's coming. You go ahead and push. So I'm like, I'm not going to push. Like, that was weird. So definitely at this point, my epidural has done nothing for me. It still hurt. Baby was like trying to come out on her own. My body was pushing like so hard, and I was in pain. I couldn't breathe through it. I was super uncomfortable, and it physically hurt. Like, I knew my face had like a hurt expression on it. Like, I was just like one of those faces, and I could definitely feel it. So at this point, it, like, I was in pain, and it sucked. So about 11:50, the doctor came in, or the midwife came in, and she's like, okay, let's get to pushing and get the baby out. So at this point, they got my feet up in the stirrup. I'm pushing. We're getting ready to push, and I'm just like, I need to get this baby out of me. And we start pushing, and it was literally the most pain I felt the entire time I was laboring. I felt the ring of fire when she was coming out and like crowning. It hurt so bad that it literally made me grab onto the sides of the bed as hard as I could. Literally, my hands were like white and red, like I lost all blood flow to my. So I'm literally holding on to the sides of the bed like as hard as I can, and like, ah, and I'm yelling like a wild damn banshee. Like, my mom said she could hear me in the hallway, and I'm like looking like Hewlin's like giving me like this weird look, like, oh my god. Like, I freaked him out because no one saw it coming. Like, it was out of nowhere. Like, I literally just went for it, and the doctor saw, yeah, it'll burn a little bit. And I'm like thinking in my mind, like, burn, my shit feels like it's on fire. Like, there's not a burn like that. It was a different type of feeling, honestly. It was different. Yeah, after that, I just bare it down, got her out, and it was go time. So it took me like 3 or 4 pushes to get her out, and that was it. She was out and perfect and like so sweet. She didn't even cry. Like, she just came out, they put her on my chest, and she just kind of like looked up at me, and I was like, oh my baby. I definitely didn't cry though, but I wanted to. I could feel like I wanted to cry, but it was just such like a calm and joyful moment. It wasn't even like, tears just didn't feel right. Like, they just didn't come out, but I knew it, like, in my heart was crying from excitement. So at 12:03 p.m. Ari was born. She was 5 pounds, 11 ounces, and 19 inches long, and she was born June 20th, which is 3 weeks earlier than her due date. So I had her at 37 weeks and 2 days, I believe. So she was my early little baby compared to Kai. She is just so sweet and like so perfect to me, even though I know all moms feel the same way. But she came out and she was just so cute and so sweet. She doesn't really cry. I mean, now she's kind of becoming a crier because she sees it gets her way faster. But when she came out, she didn't cry. She did have hair, unlike Kai, so she has a little bit more hair, and she's got the cutest like baby doll eyes. We have a bet going on to see what color her eyes are going to be. I think they're going to be brown or hazel. My mom agrees, and then Hewlin and my dad think that her eyes are going to be lighter, like a green or something. Green or gray, they say. I don't know why. I don't see it. I'm hoping for the brown eyes. I love brown eyes. So that is it for my labor and delivery birth story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing it, and I appreciate you for watching and for following me on this journey. And yeah, I will post or put a few video or pictures now at the end of the video that you guys can kind of see from me like laboring and everything. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.